Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Local businesses are offering aid to Steuben County residents affected by Tropical Storm Fred. Now, this comes after FEMA denied the county's individual assistance application last week. Big Fox's Matt Kleindienst joins us from Corning with how much these local businesses are donating.
Good evening, Ann. About a half dozen businesses spearheaded by Corning Enterprises have donated over $110,000 towards flood relief. And one representative with the United Way of the Southern Tier says that donation couldn't have come at a better time.
We're just thrilled, and it really comes right in the nick of time.
Lois Wilson from the United Way of the Southern Tier says the contributions from local businesses will greatly help with flood relief in Steuben County. Since August, the United Way chapter has been using the Flood Response Fund to help residents affected by Tropical Storm Fred. However, the fund was quickly drying out.
We've given out 60 grants for about $119,000, $120,000. So we were out of funds until this award showed up.
The support came after Corning Enterprises offered to match donations up to $25,000 from local businesses. The goal was moved up to $55,000 when businesses like Wegmans, Corning Credit Union, and the Corning Building Company quickly responded.
We're grateful for these companies that came and stepped forward to do this, and also for Corning Enterprises for matching these donations.
The $110,000 donation won't meet the entire need of the county. However, Wilson says the United Way's partner agencies are working to get whatever help they can for Steuben residents.
Anyone who is seeking help really needs to call 211 and get on the list so one of those agencies can reach out to them to determine what their need is and figure out where we can find help for them.
Corning Enterprises estimates that 50 families will be helped with this donation. Matt Kleindienst, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
The Elmira Corning Airport is set to receive $1.3 million from the State Department of Transportation. The money will be used to repurpose an existing building into a U.S. Customs and Border Protection facility. This will allow the airport to retain international passenger flights. The money is part of the state's Aviation Capital Investment Program. Crystal Lanes Bowling is hosting the Michelle Schaefer Benefit Tournament on Saturday. Named after the late wife of Pro Shop employee Ryan Schaefer, the tournament benefits depression and suicide awareness organizations. The proceeds will go toward the Suicide Prevention Center of New York, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and I Matter. Details on how to enter the tournament can be found on the Crystal Lanes website. There are new reports that the FDA is planning a big announcement on vaccine boosters this week. Griff Jenkins has more from Washington.
The feds are poised to expand access to COVID vaccine boosters. FDA senior officials reportedly planning to say this week that the booster shots can be mixed and matched, allowing people to get shots that are different from their initial doses. And while the agency recommends sticking to the same brand if possible, demand for boosters is expected to surge after the announcement. The White House now pushing drug makers to share their vaccine technology in order to boost production.
The U.S. government does not have the ability to compel Moderna to take certain actions, but it is something we support, we want to happen.
The move comes as federal health officials work to keep the focus on bringing up overall vaccination rates. Though there are a handful of governors now banning vaccine mandates, new vaccine rules went into effect this week for law enforcement in a number of cities and states, and in most areas, there were no large-scale layoffs reported.
Obviously, there were some volunteers that had to put aside some of their personal differences to get vaccinated to serve the community.
But it's a different story in Chicago, where at least a third of the city's police department remains unvaccinated. Some of those officers are now being placed on unpaid leave, escalating an already tense standoff between the police union and the mayor.
This is all about total control by this mayor.
The White House is also preparing to roll out a federal vaccine mandate for businesses with 100 employees or more. That could come as early as this week. In Washington, Griff Jenkins, Fox News.
The chief of police for Philadelphia's transit train line is outraged that a woman was raped on a train last week. He says multiple people saw it happen and no one helped or called police. He says it even looked like some of them may have recorded what happened. Alicia Roberts has the story.
There were people witnessing the act with phones in their hands.
SEPTA's chief of police with a disturbing account of what happened as a woman was raped by a stranger on board an L train in Upper Darby last Wednesday night. Investigators say other riders did not help.
people were holding their phone up in the direction of this woman being attacked.
He also says no one called Philadelphia's 911 and that it was a SEPTA employee who alerted police something wasn't right.
When the doors opened, an officer entered and saw what he believed was a criminal act occurring, ripped that man off of her.
35-year-old Fista Nagoy has been charged with rape. Now SEPTA leaders are urging all riders not to hesitate to report suspicious activity, either by calling 911 or pressing the emergency button inside all trains.
And it automatically lights up and it contacts the operator of the train.
Some SEPTA riders were familiar with the feature.
A little kid hit one once, so I remember an operator called the train to see if everything was okay.
Others telling us they're often hesitant to get involved.
I've seen people fight when we would get off the train, and I just walked away.
While SEPTA says they've increased security, they're hoping more riders will also speak up in the name of safety.
Be angry, be disgusted, be resolute about making the system safe by contacting us.
There might be trouble ahead as winter approaches. A disruption in the supply chain could impact drivers in the Northeast. Alina Barilla reports.
It's described as a crazy time of the year for local garages.
Everyone's getting ready for the winter time. There's only so much time in a day, and a month, and a week, and we got to try to fit everyone in.
Once the snow hits or the cold weather hits, it's going to turn into extremely busy.
North Country folks coming in for all season and winter tires for a little more traction and safety on the road.
Supply chain across everything has been crazy. It's no different with us.
At G&G Tire Company in Plattsburgh, manager Brandon Bayshard says that's been especially true the last 6 months.
I normally start to see tire shortages end of November, December time, and we're already seeing them, and to be honest, we haven't even started the crazy time yet.
Burning through the snow tire inventory, and he says less manufacturers are making them this year.
Snow tires, they only make them in the summertime every year. So once they sell out, they're sold out.
Distributors giving garages the heads up.
We purchased a lot of our tires ahead of time, earlier than we normally do, because we didn't want to be in a situation where we couldn't get anything.
Warren Tire Service Center says that's helped them with supply struggles so far. But depending on what you drive and what kind of tire you need, you may not get exactly what you're looking for this year. The advice from both garages: don't wait and call your local shop.
Most people should be able to get tires, but I do tell people you should get them sooner rather than later because things can change.
Figure out what's available currently, get your price ranges set up, get ahead of the game and try to get a plan.
Reminding you some prices have gone up and to be patient during the busy time of year and local staff shortages too.
Less than 2 weeks remain until the deadline that Democrats gave themselves to pass 2 massive spending bills that make up the bulk of President Biden's domestic agenda. But as the deadline gets closer, it seems the Democratic Party still has work to do to reach an agreement. Lauren Blanchard has more from Washington.
We're talking. All right, we're talking.
Talking. That's what President Biden hopes happens at the White House Tuesday, separately meeting with progressives and Democratic moderates.
The talks are great. Let's talk and act. Let's talk and move because the clock is ticking.
The president is trying to speed up a deal to move his stalled agenda forward.
And we are eager to move forward with a unified path to deliver for the American people.
Here's where the talks stand. There's bipartisan agreement on a $1 trillion traditional infrastructure bill. However, progressives see it as their leverage to pass the Democratic Build Back Better bill, which the White House has acknowledged will likely land between $1.9 to $2.2 trillion. Progressives say it's not enough.
$6 trillion was the original number. We are down to $3.5 trillion.
Moderate Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema refused to vote for a bill that big, pitting factions of the party against each other.
This donkey-on-donkey fighting here is something to watch.
Manchin also wants some climate investments removed, a key issue for the president's clean energy agenda.
The carbon tax is not on the board at all right now.
Republicans universally oppose the larger liberal spending bill and blame runaway Democratic spending for growing inflation.
The American people are being pummeled by inflation, paying more for the things that they used to pay less for.
President Biden is headed overseas for climate summits in the coming weeks. He wants the bills passed, including his climate investments, when he meets with world leaders. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
A U.S. Capitol police officer has pleaded not guilty to charges connected to the U.S. Capitol riots. Today, Officer Michael Riley entered his not guilty plea to 2 counts of obstruction of justice in court. Riley is accused of trying to help a rioter who took part in the January 6th insurrection. Prosecutors say the officer told the person online to take photos and videos of the attack off of social media. Authorities say the accused rioter informed the FBI of their communications. Riley is the first police officer on duty on Capitol Hill that day, charged in relation to the insurrection. Still ahead tonight, with news of General Colin Powell's death from COVID-related complications, health officials are addressing issues that may have contributed to his death along with the virus.
He was over the age of 80. He had cancer, and the treatment for his cancer made him vulnerable.
Why health experts say Powell's death highlights the importance for everyone to get vaccinated, not just those with underlying health conditions.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Tonight's Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. A much warmer day today than yesterday. We did see a little bit more sunshine. It was a little bit gusty today, though. Temperature readings running about 10 to 20 degrees above yesterday. Watkins Glen reporting about 13 degrees warmer, 16 degrees warmer in Corning. Elmira about 17 degrees warmer. Mansfield about 11 degrees warmer. And so a big difference from yesterday. And this warming trend will continue at least for a couple of days. Lots of sunshine for our area, just a few clouds up to our north and also to our east. But we are tracking our next storm system, which is located in the Rockies right now. This low pressure system will eject out of the Rockies, move into the Midwest tomorrow, and then eventually toward the Twin Tiers by the end of the week. And so we do have possibilities of rain. We do have a couple of systems that will come through, and not only is it going to bring rain, but it's going to cause those temperatures to really plummet. And so we are talking about the possibility of frost by next week. But here's a look at what you can expect for the next few days. Sunny and warmer for your Wednesday. We are expecting a few showers for your Thursday afternoon, and then temperatures will be cooler on Friday. But tomorrow will be a very comfortable day. We are going to enjoy plenty of sunshine out ahead of that next storm system, but that low pressure system along with that cold front will be driving in on Thursday. Out ahead of it, those showers will start to move in, and then that cold front will be draped across our area by the end of the day on Thursday and into early Friday, and then those temperatures will be plummeting over the weekend. So let's take a look at our rain chances with our future radar, where we're not finding any for tonight or even into tomorrow. Is going to be an absolutely gorgeous day with lots of sunshine, maybe just a few high-level clouds. And then by the end of the day, there could be 1 or 2 showers that try to move in, a few more showers in the overnight and into early Thursday. And then as we head into the latter part of Thursday with that cold front coming in, there could be some moderate rain, but it looks like it's going to be a quick mover. By Friday, I think everything will start to dry out. It will be breezy and it will be cooler. But for tonight, temperatures will dip down into the 50s, so it's not going to be quite as cold as yesterday. Readings around 52 degrees in Elmira, 54 degrees in Corning, and then as we head into the afternoon on Wednesday, we're going to warm up into the 70s for Corning and Elmira. A little bit cooler in Bath at 69, 68 in Wayland, and in Watkins Glen around 73 degrees. Take a look at our extended forecast, where those temperatures will be diving down into the 50s over the weekend. Take a look at these 30s by early next week.
Former U.S. Secretary of State Colin Powell was fully vaccinated for COVID-19, but died of complications due to the virus. He also had cancer and Parkinson's disease, according to his chief of staff, which likely lessened his protection from the COVID-19 vaccine. Health experts say Powell's death highlights the importance for everyone to get vaccinated to protect those who are vulnerable. Mandy Gaither has more in today's Health Minute.
Colin Powell was set to get a booster shot of the COVID-19 vaccine last week, but was too sick to receive it, according to the former Secretary of State's longtime chief of staff.
He was over the age of 80. He had cancer, and the treatment for his cancer made him vulnerable.
While COVID-19 vaccines provide strong protection against severe disease and death in healthy people, it may not provide that same level of protection in some immunocompromised people. Powell was suffering from multiple myeloma, a blood cancer. One study published in July in the journal Nature suggests only 45% of patients with multiple myeloma had an adequate response to the vaccine. 1/3 had no response. That's why in August, boosters were authorized for patients receiving treatment for tumors and blood cancers and certain others who are immunocompromised.
There have been 7,000 breakthrough deaths since people have been fully vaccinated starting in about January of this year. That's compared to over 300,000 unvaccinated people who've died in this country. 7,000 to 300,000. These vaccines work.
Former Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams says most of those with breakthrough cases who have died were people over the age of 65 who had underlying health conditions like Powell.
The fact is that General Powell died because we didn't take the proper measures to lower spread in this country.
That's why top U.S. health officials and experts say vaccines for all is key to protecting the vulnerable. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
People with hearing loss may soon be able to buy hearing aids without visiting a doctor. The Food and Drug Administration proposed a new rule Tuesday that would allow people to purchase the devices without a prescription, an exam, or a fitting. It comes after an executive order from President Joe Biden, which called for increased competition and access to medical devices. The FDA says out of the American adults who have hearing loss, just 20% use an aid. The proposed rule also aims to make hearing aids more affordable by making them available at more retailers and online. The public can comment on the proposition for 90 days. An emotional moment at an Indianapolis intersection. A mother, still grieving 22 years after her daughter's death, met the officer who was working to protect her daughter's memory. Reporter Lakin McGee was there.
So I want to put this accident in perspective for you. Shelby was driving northbound here on Rockville when the drunk driver came west on Lyndhurst, hit her right here, and put her all the way over there by the first gas pump.
Flowers, a crown, a pony. Shelby Smith was killed 22 years ago. Her friends made a memorial for her long ago. Officer Jeff Stagg didn't know Shelby, but drives by her memorial every day and noticed trash and overgrown grass. He cleaned it up and replaced the cross with a new one, and it was all caught on TikTok. Shelby's mom, now living in Texas, saw the video. The two decided to meet for the first time here at Shelby's memorial.
22 years it's been maintained, and to me that is just the most awesome thing that she can still be remembered.
The sergeant that arrested the drunk driver that night also came to show support. Sherry was presented with the original cross before she left.
Inflation is already driving up the prices of beef and chicken, and now pork prices are expected to rise even higher. A new law may soon change how pork is raised and sold in the U.S. Jen Sullivan explains.
Pork is already taking bigger bites out of budgets. And now pork producers say a new animal welfare law is about to make bringing home the bacon more expensive.
In the past 2 to 3 months, it has done nothing but go up, and it hasn't been by cents, it's been by dollars.
Pork prices have been skyrocketing during the pandemic due to inflation and supply chain issues. And now there's another reason. California, pork's largest U.S. market, is adopting a new law that raises living condition standards for pigs. The measure takes effect next year, but pork producers are already spooked. Under the new law, mother pigs must be given at least 24 square feet of space each and kept out of gestation crates where their movement is severely restricted. Pork producers are already warning the new law may bring added costs throughout the supply chain and ultimately leave shoppers across the country with fewer and more expensive options. Economists say it may add about $8 to each person's annual spending on pork.
One of the reasons why we are faced with
beef and pork shortages is because we lack processing capacity. We need more competition in that space.
And it's not just pork prices on the rise. In September, consumer prices jumped for other meats like chicken and beef, eggs, milk, homes, gas, even electricity.
Well, relief is coming. I think you're going to see a moderation of those price increases over time.
For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Walmart is joining the fray to kick off the holiday buying frenzy early. The retailer announced it plans to launch 3 sales in November, marketed as Black Friday deals. Retailers are experimenting with spreading Black Friday deals over a longer period of time. Walmart's plan is for each sale to be available on its website first and then hit stores 2 days later. It joins retailers like Best Buy, Target, and Amazon in marking down popular items well ahead of the holiday season. For a second year, Walmart says it will close stores on Thanksgiving due to the pandemic. An old dog has a new trick that's going viral. It's so new, he's predicting the future. Jeannie Mose reports on the pug's predictions.
Introducing
You really have to put that away, sir.
the pug prognosticator who has tongues wagging, Noodle, the 13-year-old dog tickling funny bones with his bones or no bones pronouncements.
Oh my gosh, there are bones today. Okay, all right, you know what that means. Treat yourself today.
But please, no bones to pick on those mornings when the opposite happens. When Noodle flops, so can you, using him as an excuse.
Hey Liz, I'm so sorry. I actually don't have bones, and I can't meet you and your crappy boyfriend for a drink after work.
Ever since Jonathan Graziano adopted Noodle almost 6 years ago,
Noodle calls the shots.
Noodle makes it clear if he's not ready to get up in the morning.
He would just go completely boneless and he would just flop on me.
Now the internet is taking its cues from a 23-pound pug on whether it's going to be a Bones Day
Standing like a deep-rooted tree.
or a No Bones Day.
Oh, a soft collapse.
Followers are putting their fate in Noodle's bones.
Do I believe in astrology? No. Do I believe in that dog? Yes.
They're making no bones about singing Noodle's praises.
If it's a no bones day, I just stay in bed. Noodle said it's fine if I don't get dressed. His legs are made of jello.
At a colonial museum in Trenton, New Jersey, Noodle rules.
Pack it in, David. We're done for the day.
What? Why?
Don't worry about that. It's a no bones day.
Oh, okay.
You'd expect pillow talk from his New York City owner, enraptured with Noodle.
And you want to talk about going off the deep end, like we're there.
But with over 1.7 million followers,
Oh, and he's feeling jazzed.
seems like everyone's going off the deep end.
Noodle said that it was quite alright if I don't leave my house all night.
Blame Noodle, and maybe you won't end up in the doghouse.
It's a no bones day.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. A discovery made on a busy Texas highway. Fort Worth police officers responded to reports of a kitten stranded on the shoulder of a busy interstate. They found the tiny animal terrified and backed into a storm drain grate. The officers pulled it to safety, calmed it down, and took it to a local animal shelter. They later posted the video to Facebook, asking people to vote on a name for the kitten. The choices were Freeway, Lucky, Highway, Alexander the Great, and Hitch. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.